Evan, he hit 3 more home runs. What do you want us to lie? We don't know.
If you told me he did, I'd believe you. If you have you were a triple shy of a cycle in the second inning, and you told me he had 3 more home runs.
He didn't get the cycle, but he got a couple more home runs.
He's still 3 for 3 through 3 innings right now. So that's kind of where we're at.
Unbelievable, this guy. He's just
incredible.
He's not.
As long as it's not during the MLB playoffs, he's amazing.
They won the World Series, Pat.
Right.
Oh my God.
Sure had a good game and during those playoffs, huh?
We're gonna do this again.
Yeah, Pat's a hater.
The guy's arguably the greatest player, along with Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., Babe Ruth, whoever you want to bring up, to ever play the sport.
Yes.
We're gonna hate the guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater. I'm just telling you.
You don't think you're an Ohtani hater?
Facts. These are not my opinion. These are things that happened.
All right. You said it was a good move for the Bills to get DJ Moore yesterday in the trade with the Bears.
Yes.
But you also said they were not the number one winners of the trade.
No.
Why were the Bears the winners of the trade?
Oh, because they've got a second-round pick. Now they've got more ammunition to be able to fortify their roster and address needs. And they've got a huge need at the center position. We didn't anticipate their center, Drew Dahlman, who they signed in free agency a year ago, retiring. But now they've got to fill that hole along with addressing other needs, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. So being able to add more draft capital, being able to add a premium pick in day 2, I think that's going to matter in a significant way in terms of the Chicago Bears being able to put together a package to be able to bring over the type of player that they need in order to take that next step.
Let's credit also, by the way, Ryan Poles, our general manager.
Yeah.
Here's why. You bring in a big wide receiver in DJ Moore by way of trade with Carolina, and we'll get to that part of it in a second. And he was good for you, right? Mm-hmm. And you then draft the guy in the top 10 to pair with him in Rome Odunze. And then also you find value in not the first round in Luther Burden. And you're like, okay, well, these 2 guys on rookie scale deals can be our starters at that position. And they're on the exact same timeline as our star young quarterback in Caleb Williams. And now we have the opportunity to trade the guy we brought in to get us to the point of Rome and Odunze and Burden. And now we can move on from him and create cap flexibility and have potentially the ammo to get other guys. I think that we have made fun of the Bears a lot historically on this show. There's no, to me, yes, DJ Moore's not on their team. Drew Dahlman, unexpected retirement. They had to release Jermaine Edmonds yesterday in the final year of his deal. $15 million cap savings, linebacker, still young, came into the league very young, still young. So, sure, the roster is going to be churned a little bit, but that's what happens when you get good and guys are going to want more money, and they have earned more money. I just think the state of the Bears feels a lot different than it used to right now.
Yeah, and Ryan Poles has done a great job, but the biggest part of that was being able to find the right head coach in Ben Johnson.
No doubt.
You've done that. Now you can focus on the talent acquisition piece, and for a team that has 1 first-round pick and 2 second-round picks in this year's draft, they've got a lot of ammunition where they can do some damage. And so you're trying to figure out now, how do they work the offseason? Is it signing a center in free agency and then going big game hunting in terms of trying to trade for a player on the defensive side of the ball? Do you just try to load up with draft picks on the defensive side of the ball? I'm really curious to see how this all works out for Ryan Poles. But to me, moving off of DJ Moore and that $28 million cap hit means giving yourself some flexibility to add somebody that has a significant salary, and I just don't know whether that's going to come via free agency or via trade.
Okay, it seems like it's not going to come by way of one guy that has been rumored nonstop, and that is Maxx Crosby. Adam Schefter, senior NFL insider, was on ESPN 1000 in Chicago yesterday, Waddle and Sylvie, and had this to say about whether or not Maxx Crosby could land in Chicago.
Well, Maxx Crosby, I think they've checked in on, and just to kind of see what it would cost, as every team should. But I don't think that's a headline. Every team should be checking in on Maxx Crosby. I think I'd probably be surprised if he wound up in Chicago, but let's see what happens.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised if Maxx Crosby becomes a Bear.
I'd be a little surprised, but let's see how it plays out. I've been surprised before.
Would that be because of the asking price?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
like I said, they're not going to move him unless they get a real big offer.
So, Waddle and Sylvie, ESPN 1000 in Chicago, where you hear us right now, and Adam Schefter yesterday. Let's talk about who that defensive player could be, right? Because they freed up some room there. You talk about the fact that they won the trade because they got the extra ammo with the second rounder. They have their first rounder this year. They have 2 second rounders this year. if you're interested in Maxx Crosby, that's great. If the asking price is too high, understood. But if you've made the call, CC, in my mind, to the Raiders for Maxx Crosby, I hope the Browns said no for Myles Garrett first. I just hope if you're looking for the game-changing, game-wrecking, as you said, defensive end, I just need the Browns to say no first to Myles Garrett. I know he's got right now more speeding tickets than wins, so maybe focus on that. But I need to know that they're going to say no first before I even get to Maxx Crosby. I have over the next 2 years.
You always say start with a no.
Yeah, if I just look at a 2-year window, right, where I'm still in Caleb's rookie scale contract, I have 2 firsts and 3 seconds. Like, I'll start there, Cleveland. I'll start there. Take my draft over the next 2 years, because the draft is less important when I have a franchise quarterback on a rookie scale deal. I can give up those picks when I have room to pay a guy like Myles Garrett. That's where I would start. Doesn't seem like Maxx Crosby. I am totally cool with the idea of Chicago using their money to protect Caleb. We saw what happened 2 years ago with all the sacks, which is a lot on the offensive line, also on the quarterback, right? Yeah. So what should Chicago do here now that they have clearly just destroyed the Panthers retroactively in that trade? Yeah. What do they do?
Well, I think you still prioritize taking care of Caleb, right? So you can keep that upward trajectory for him, because as he goes, your franchise goes. So being able to fill that hole in the middle of your offensive line is going to be big. They're going to bring in Tyler Biadasz for a free agent visit. We'll see what happens with Tyler Linderbaum, who's expected to command top dollar on the open market as this year's #1 interior offensive lineman. But listen, they've got to figure out how they stabilize that unit after the retirement of Drew Dalman. So I think that's where they start. The defensive side of the ball gets interesting, because if you do get no's from the Cleveland Browns, you get a no from the Las Vegas Raiders in terms of trying to trade for those 2 star edge rushers. Do you pivot to somebody like Trey Hendrickson? Do you decide to attack the problem a different way and add to the back end of your defense by trying to trade for a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's there to be had from the Miami Dolphins? I think there are a lot of different machinations that you can come up with, different scenarios where the Chicago Bears can address the biggest team needs, which are the interior of your offensive line and your defense. It's just a matter of what's the best strategy for Ryan Poles in terms of how to navigate the offseason.
Well, you just gave a strategy, I think, right? Because you don't, in a dream world, you don't want to give up draft compensation and then have to pay someone more than they're already making, right? Yep. You want to do one or the other. So in your scenario that you just brought up, Trey Hendrickson, Minkah Fitzpatrick, you could sign Trey Hendrickson outright, probably on a short 2-year deal, $40 million all in, maybe more now. Danielle Hunter just got a 1-year, $40 million contract extension with the Texans, but and then use the draft ammo to get Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, you just came up with the plan.
It's a great plan.
Tyler at center.
Your defense takes a big leap. Yeah. Have one of the Tylers play center.
Tyler Aki is a host in Chicago. He produces Waddle and Sylvie. Maybe he's going to be the center. So a Tyler at center.
Yes.
Trey Hendrickson, Minkah Fitzpatrick. If they
Nobody in Chicago says no to that offseason.
Can they get that done financially?
I mean, where there's a will, there's a way.
Can they get that done?
Yeah, I mean, you could always restructure contracts and move money around. There's always a possibility. Yeah.
If they get a Tyler at center, they sign Trey Hendrickson, they trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Who are you picking to win the NFC North?
Oh, the Chicago Bears. Yeah. I mean, listen, the only reason teams use the salary cap to make the case as to why they shouldn't pay anybody. But the salary cap rarely, if ever, gets in the way of a team wanting to pay a guy. Period.
But what you just laid out is they traded what you deem to be a #1 wide receiver. They cut a starting linebacker, and their center retired. And you laid out a 2 to 3 step process that is doable for them to win the division again.
Yes.
That means they have a pretty good roster outside of those guys.
They got a good team. They got a good team.
That means Caleb is pretty damn good also. Let's be honest. Courtney Cronin, ESPN Bears reporter, tweeted out that the Bears created $44 million in cap space in the last 2 days. Drew Dalman's retirement, trading DJ Moore, and releasing Tremaine Edmonds Thursday night. $44 million. So between Hendrickson, Minkah, and a Tyler at center, they have to figure out how to get that done. And you're saying it can get done. All right, coming up. Is this all of a sudden a trade week in the NFL? We'll get to that next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen.